Hello and welcome back once again. It's really not easy to make it this far, I know, and I want to encourage you to keep exploring all of the stuff I'm gonna be revealing to you in this course, and I promise to cover most of the things that other courses don't cover, so that you can just go ahead and become a front-end developer that you want to be. So all you just need to do is to keep learning and keep practicing. Okay, so in this lesson we shall explore the HTML styles. So the question is, what is an HTML style? Before we start making sense of what styles are, so we need to understand the term CSS. CSS actually is an acronym for cascading style sheets. So the word cascading means that a style applied to a parent element will also be applied to all the children elements within that parent element. So if you remember in our previous video, one of our previous video, I made mention of elements that are nested, right? So where we have the parents element and the children element. So to understand this better, let's navigate to our brackets window. Alright, we are going to add one more thing here, but before that, let's go ahead and remove the background color of this particular style attributes. So if you want to set the text color of the body element to blue, all the H1 elements, the P elements, and all other elements that has to do with text within the body element, we also get the same color of text, unless you specify a different text color in the child elements, which are these ones we have here. Okay, so the body element is the parent element, while these ones are the children elements. So what I'm trying to say in fact is this, that when you apply a color here, a font color here, okay, this same font color that you apply here will be applied to all the text color, all the element that has to do with text inside or within the body elements. So let's go ahead and add this. Let's say color equal to red. So let's save our work. Let's go to our live preview to view what will be the final output of this particular file. Good. As you can see from the browser window, the HTML elements we have within the body element here have now inherited the text color attributes of their parent element called the body element. Unless you specify a different text color in one of the child's elements, say H1. So inside the H1, let's go ahead and say style equal to color. Let's set the color to what? Blue. Okay, no, green. Now let's save our work by Ctrl S or go to File and select what? Save. Now let's use the live preview to check the final output on a browser window. Good. As you can see right here on the browser window, the H1 element is now displaying the text, okay, in a green color instead of the red, okay, inherited from the parent element called the body tag. Okay, so the reason is simply because we specified a different text color in the H1 element, which is why we have the green color. Okay, so I hope this illustration will help you to understand the term cascading in CSS. But just in case the reverse becomes the case, okay, you can pause the video, rewind it, and watch it again. This time you will understand it. Now you might want to ask, what is the difference between the CSS and HTML? Actually, the only difference between CSS, that's cascading style sheet, and HTML is that why the HTML is used to create the actual contents of the web page, okay? The CSS, on the other hand, can be used to control the color, font, the size of text, the spacing between elements, how elements are positioned and laid out, what background images or background color are to be used, different displays for different devices and screen sizes, and much more. So, but there are three main ways to include CSS styles to a HTML document. And these styles are as follows. The first one is called the Inline Styles, whereas the second one is called Embedded Styles, while the third one is called what? The External Styles. Now, let's take a look at these styles one after the other. Let's say the Inline Styles. So this style is specified inside individual elements using the style attributes. So this is just a typical example of adding an inline style to our HTML documents. This particular one you are seeing here is a typical example of how to add styles to our HTML documents using what? Inline style. Okay, so we also have the example here, as you can see here. So that is just it for inline style. So if you want to add styles to your HTML documents using inline what? Style. So this is how to add it, okay, by using the attribute style. Okay, so that's just by the way. Now let's look at the second one, which is the embed style. So in the embed styles, okay, we don't specify styles right inside individual elements. Okay, so now let's get practical and see how we can include embed style right into our HTML documents. So like I said previously, I will simply go ahead and remove this. Okay, we don't need this style anymore. This is an inline style. Okay, and let's go ahead and remove this as well. This is also called an inline what? Style. So right now we are going to apply embedded what? Styles. Now to start with, let's choose this. But before that, let's save our work and view it on a browser window to see how it looks. So go to File, then click what? Save. So right, let's go back and see how it looks. Alright, as you can see, the background is now white, right? The text have now gone back to their default color, which is black, except the hypertext link, which by default is set to be blue. Okay, so now let's go back to our bracket window. So here we are going to start including the embedded style. So we start with this style. In between the open tag of style and the close tag of style, right now we are going to target these body elements. Okay, so right inside the open tag of style and the close tag of style, so we call it body. Then we'll now use curly brackets, open curly brackets and close curly brackets. So in between the open curly brackets and the close curly brackets is where we are now going to specify the properties of this what? Body. Okay, so we can start by saying background color set to what? Red, right? Then let's set the color, which is the text color, let's set it to what? White. Now save your work by going to File, then click Save, or you press Ctrl S. Okay, now let's go to our browser window and refresh to see the final output. Voila! Can you see the magic? Reason, because we set the background to what? Red, and the color of the word text to what? White. That's why you are seeing this, right? Awesome. So this is exactly how to add what? Embedded what? Styles. Okay, in our HTML document. It's not a rocket science, you can do it. So that is just by the way. Now the last but not the least, which is the external style sheets. Actually, we can specify the styles, okay, as a link in the external style sheets. So I'm going to show you this. This is also similar to the Embed Style. The only difference is that you are required to create a separate file for the styles, okay? So then use a link to call it up from the head elements in your HTML document. So let's take, for instance, say we first create a file called styles.css. Now let me show you how to do this. So first of all, we are going to copy it. Let's copy from here and let's go ahead and cut it. I'll simply right click. Let's highlight and cut. Good. So right now, the next thing we're going to do now is to create a separate file called styles.css. So let's go to file, then select new, right? So let's go ahead and paste this thing here. Okay, let's go ahead and paste it here. So right now we have all our styles stored in one separate file, okay, which we are going to call styles. So let's go ahead and do it. So go to file, select what? Save. Okay, so from the save as dialog box, we are going to name it what? Styles.css. So the .css actually is the extension what? Name, okay, which tells the browser that look, all the properties that we have in this file are what? They are CSS files. So go ahead and use it to format the HTML documents. So that's what this means. So let's go ahead and click what? Save. But before that, let's locate the folder, okay, to save this particular what? File. So let's go here and click desktop and let's click what? Save. So that's it just by the way, right? So we now have the styles displaying in this what? File, right? So the next thing we are going to do right now is to link this particular file in our what? Index.html. That's our HTML what? Document, okay? So which is why it is called what? An external what? Styles, because all the properties needed to format the body elements, so all these properties, okay, are found in this styles.css, which we are going to link in the what? Index.html before it can work. So right now we have created a file styles.css, right? So now let me show you how to add it as a link, okay, and which will now make it an external what? Style. And don't forget, you must specify it within the head element, otherwise it will not work. If you specify it outside here, it won't work. It must surely come within the head element. That's the open tag of head element and the close tag of head, okay? So this is how it goes. We start with the link. So let's specify rel style sheets, okay? Then type, let's specify CSS, and the last, which is href, let's specify the href as styles.css. So let's save our work. Alright, don't mind me, this should be text and CSS, okay? So just go ahead and change this. Now let's go ahead and save our work. Then go to let's visit our this to check what could be the problem. Alright, let's visit our styles of CSS, and okay, this time around let's remove this. We don't need it anymore since we are targeting it as an external style sheet, okay? So let's go ahead and click file, select what? Save, right? Now let's go back and refresh our browser window. Voila! As you can see, very awesome. So this is how to add what? External what? Style sheets. Okay, so that's just by the way. So my dear students, in summary, we talked about the concept of CSS and how to add styles into our HTML documents using 3 different formats, such as the inline, the embedded, and the external style sheet. So this video is becoming too long, so I think I'm going to cut it short here and see you in our next video. Thank you.